All right, folks, we're just moments away from an exceptional podcast with two of Canada's most revered wetland creatures. The boys from Tactical Beaver, they're going to be up in here. But before we get to that, we got to get to these sponsors. First off, we have StrongBarsNutrition.com. That's pure strength protein bars. So like I've said before, these are not your regular protein bars. These are a premium brand of protein bars. When you get your hands on these, you're getting all organic, natural, pure, simple ingredients, real food stuff that tastes real good, and it'll get you real strong. Just the other day, I was out in the garden, maybe pulling a few weeds, and I tugged on a tiny weed, and it was actually connected to a root of a tree that was nearby. The tree was maybe 150 feet tall. I yanked on that weed and the whole tree came down. So I ruined my backyard a little bit, but just goes to show you that it might make you overly strong. So please be careful with these protein bars. And if you dare to get yourself a whole bunch of them on StrongBarsNutrition.com, use the promo code MITIC, MITIC, in capital letters to get 10% off. So go ahead and try these bars. We're going to give you 10% off when you go to StrongBarsNutrition.com. and use the promo code MITIC to get 10% off. What also could have made me that strong? Well, it could have been the Firehouse Coffee from Firehouse Coffee Roasters, and that's Firehaus. And you can find those Firehouse Coffee Roasters on Facebook. Send Glenn a message there. He's going to get you hooked up with some of the best beans going. Try that Ugandan blend. It is out of this world. You're going to get a fresh cup of coffee because these beans are roasted in small batch and they are amazing. We also like to bring this little thing to you by a book called Unflinching, The Making of a Canadian Sniper, written by Jody Mitic, published by Simon & Schuster. You can get this at Chapters, Indigo, Barnes & Noble, online, and at, most importantly, the jodymiticpodcast.com website. You can get it through the Amazon click-through there, and that's going to help support this little thing. So go ahead and get Unflinching, The Making of a Canadian Sniper. Let's get to this episode with these two beavers.
Is it on? I always ask that every show, just so you guys know. Jody Luke Podcast, episode 38. Was just getting good.
Well done.
Doesn't that make you want to go kill everything?
Something like that, yeah.
It should, because it's from John Wick, Chapter 2, John Wick Mode.
We just need like 800 people to run through the door.
Yeah, without shooting at us. Yeah, we were... Okay, so right in front of me, I got my man Nick and Boris from Tactical Beaver? Beaver Tactical.
Tactical Beaver.
Tactical Beaver. And then, what is it? True North?
True North Tradecraft.
Microphone, bro.
True North
there you
Tradecraft.
go. And we cracked some ciders, and I just saw John Wick 2, and my bullshit meter. I was telling you guys, my bullshit meter was just too much. It was just too much. The first one, it all flowed, and I get it. You're an ex-gunfighter. Are you current ex?
Still in.
Yeah, we're all. I assume you are.
I'm still in.
Yeah. So we get it. Of course, army movies kind of piss us off, or gunfighting movies to an extent.
True.
But John Wick 1 was pretty, damn accurate.
It was spot on, yeah.
But John Wick 2, I was just I don't get it. It was enough. Way too much energy expended per kill. And the open spaces did not lend to dudes just running into the scene and getting shot in the face by him.
Yeah, tactics were definitely out the window on that one.
It's just, that's just my thing, and I get it. They tried to make it, the state-of-the-art body armor that they sewed into his suit. Bitch, you're still getting hit at close range with 12-gauge slugs and fucking 7.62 and 45.
It's going to knock you on your ass.
You're going to die of internal bleeding regardless of if it penetrates or not.
But off camera, he does a lot of sit-ups, so it's okay.
It just, again, I go to the catacomb scene. I'm sitting there watching. I saw him. He sets it up. Shotgun here, AR there. Cool. Ammo, grenades, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait, how many guys is he, like, where are they getting all these guys? There's like, he kills about 60 dudes in there.
They had a QRF just standing by, apparently.
Dude, we didn't have a QRF that big in fucking Panjway.
Nope.
It was a platoon, maybe, right? It was maybe 2 or 3 sections tops, and like they're all ex, gunfighters themselves. Not one of them could shoot him in the head, or shoot him in the hand, or somewhere where he's not body armored up.
They're going for that hand-to-hand kill.
I don't know.
Oh.
The opening scene with the car, I was like, that pissed me off right off the top. He would have had his egress route picked out before he started his car.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right?
He's
And
a
then
tactician.
why drive it away and then come back and then have a shot with the guy who had it? That doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just getting cynical in my old age, but I expected so much more from that movie.
Well, the first one did really well, right? So
It was awesome. The
Yeah.
first one, it was awesome. And then everybody's reviews online were like, best movie ever, John Wick 2, so worth it, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
The story was actually pretty dope, in my opinion. The whole, like, what do they call it? The marker?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
had the blood marker.
Yeah.
But again, he seems smarter than the guy who would say no. Like, he's like, oh, I'm not that guy anymore. Bitch, you just killed 100 people
Yeah.
over a dog.
Yeah.
You're telling me you can't just go finish this marker thing off after the guy let you leave the Assassin's Creed or whatever the fuck it is and be done with it? Come on.
For sure.
And then it takes blowing up his house for him to be like, okay, fine.
Yeah, I guess I'll do it.
I
now.
guess.
Twist my rubber arm. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being cynical, but it just seemed like it could have gone so much smoother and stayed true to the roots of the original.
No, agreed.
Well, that's just me.
I find that.
But I'm a bit of an asshole.
Aren't we all in some way?
So let's talk about Tactical Beaver.
Tactical
Fuck is hanging
Beaver.
off my mic. Hang on. Technical issues here. What the fuck was it? Oh, almost burped in the microphone. That would have been fun. So talk to me. What unit you from?
So Boris and I are with 2 military police regiment, and we're with.
Wait a minute. What? These guys are MPs?
Oh, hold on. Let me finish.
Get the fuck out of my place. I'm just fucking with
Let
you.
us finish. 32 MP platoon in Toronto Reserve. So we're not really MPs.
You say that like it's better.
I think so.
So you're like part-time fun police.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
great.
Without the badge or the cool stuff.
Yeah. So do you guys are you guys on close protection or anything like that?
So I did the CP thing recently.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Where?
I was in Kabul with at the embassy there with Apadenda.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and a little bit of contracting after that, and before that I was in Panjway with the Palmlet.
Palmlet.
Yeah, that was
Cool. What about you?
I've stayed more
On the microphone, Boris, or we're just gonna delete you from this whole podcast. Extend it all the way up. Loosen that collar. No, right there, like this piece right here. Yeah. There we go. To tighten it. See how Nick and I have it. There you go. There you go, bro.
Copy that. So I've stayed more on the national security side of things. So
Yeah.
I work with Department of Transport in their security division
Okay.
in Toronto, and I'm an ex-customs officer as well.
Oh.
So I've been
Wait, what's customs officer?
So when you come back from a trip or something like that, they're the people who go through your bags looking for drugs and
Right.
other bad things, right? So
What was the biggest thing you ever found?
That's a loaded question.
a loaded question, yeah.
Okay, the biggest illegal thing.
I was involved in a seizure for 96 kilos of heroin, which was a pretty big haul. People smuggling, so having like a
Hang on. Is that stuff you get tipped on early? Or you just found
this
it?
This was stuff that we found. So people smuggling. There was a case where a guy came through. I didn't really like what he had to say. Pulled him aside, went through his stuff, found a handful of passports for women that were on the plane. So we closed it down.
Hey man,
and got
maybe
them
just
out.
mail that stuff.
Courier it.
like courier that shit to you. Anyway,
Yeah.
Express
So anyways, we pulled out the the women out of the line, and
he had their passports.
Yeah, he had their passport.
They were in line.
Yeah, he was like their handler kind of to get them in, so they were being.
Hey, bro,
smuggled
maybe
in.
distribute them before you get to the lineup
Yeah.
for customs.
So we busted him.
Where was that? TO?
Toronto, yeah. So we busted him and a couple of people with like kiddie porn and stuff like that. So busting them. So those are some pretty good things. An abducted child once.
Wow.
Things like that, and lots of drugs. But
a guy I was when I first joined, my buddy Paul joined with me, and we were from the Lawrence Scott Reserves, and then
Brampton.
A guy that he was a vehicle tech, and one of his fellow vehicle techs was a former like border customs guy.
Yeah.
But this is back in the late 80s, early 90s that he did it. And we used to drive back from Pett to Toronto with this guy, and he would tell us stories about like standing at the border and people would come by and he'd like bust them for brand new stereos installed in Buffalo and all this other. And I'm just sitting there like, you're just a dick. Who gives a fuck? Like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna save they're gonna save a couple $100. Like it was just the way he was so gleeful about it. I was just like, cool, man. Did you ever catch anyone? I don't know, like, kiddie porn in the trunk or a kidnapped kid tied up in his sack? No? Oh, you were just the James Bond kit carrying dick who would look in the door for new window tint.
He wanted to charge you for the extra bottle of booze. That's why.
Well, that was his thing.
Because
he was all about like the little stuff, and I'm just sitting there like, who cares about that stuff? Like, go catch like international criminals and shit. Like,
I was always of the opinion that if someone was honest coming through, I'd cut them all the breaks that I could, right? And if they,
or at least if they just weren't assholes,
exactly.
maybe.
You're kind of looking for the bigger fish,
yeah.
The things that are really impactful.
Yeah.
So my last year at Customs, I was on their special enforcement unit, and we went after like immigration, like terrorism, people smuggling, that sort of stuff, weapons, drugs, currency, money laundering, that sort of thing. So it was a good go.
I bought a truck in what's the state up next to like Thunder Bay?
Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it was Minnesota. Out in the boonies of Minnesota. So I drove up there, crossed the border, bought this truck, came back, and I had a receipt for the truck for like $800 American.
That's a good deal.
And
yeah,
but it's Minnesota, right?
Yeah,
it's an 80. It was an 86 Dodge Ram slant 6 2-wheel drive short box. Sweet truck, but on paper worth fuck and all, right? But they're like, oh, it's such a nice truck. You must have paid more. I'm like, dude, do you even know what this is? Rust free or not, it's a 20-year-old truck with a slant 6 and it's 2-wheel drive. They made me sit there for like 2 hours until finally, I think maybe was this before Google? This might have been before Google was a thing. And I'm just like, guys, like just look in the Auto Trader, like it's not worth that much money, right? Anyway,
You get all kinds.
It was like, I get it, you're bored. They're like the MPs that are in Meaford.
Yeah.
Their whole fucking life is the parade square right there.
Fact.
If someone drives across the parade square, it's like, oh shit, hat backwards.
Light them up.
And I've seen it happen. I'm just saying. I've seen it happen. Do you know what you just did? It's like, no, it's my mom, bro. She has no idea what you just did. Why don't you just fucking relax?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Good old MPs.
Good old MPs. Okay, so TAC Beav, talk to me about it.
Tactical Beaver, well, we are a veteran-owned and operated lifestyle apparel brand that likes to cater to military, emergency services, and patriots alike.
Love it.
While giving back to the community in the sense that we have partnered with True Patriot Love, and they get a portion of our proceeds.
Lucky them. They have millions already, right?
Yep.
Okay, just making
Every little bit helps, right? So
yeah. I'm a big fan of True Patriot Love. I just like making fun of them as well. And if they can't take it, well, that's their fucking problem.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So what inspired you to start it?
Well, Boris and I...
Article 15?
Well, it's similar to that, Article 15 Pipers Union. We were tired of paying, $60 for a T-shirt with the shipping and the conversion. And we're like, why can't we do that? We're clever, funny guys. Why the hell can't we create something similar?
Love it.
Yeah, so we came up with an idea. I reached out to some people in the States, like this guy Tony, who owns Woobies, veteran-owned shoe company in the States.
Yeah, he's on our list of guys to call, right, Luke? Yeah. Luke's in the background today, folks, because You know, this high-tech podcast of ours, the Jody Mitic Podcast Studios, has all of 3 microphones.
We hijacked
2 are
it,
worth about $150. The one Boris is on is worth about $19.99. I think.
Outstanding.
It's the best working one.
Yeah, you know what? Like a while ago, I thought the same thing. Like, you know, how come there's no cool Canadian veteran stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Because there was some stuff that you looked at and you're like,
Well, that's the thing. It's not something that you would want to wear off base anywhere. You know,
I wouldn't even want to wear some of that shit on base.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought to ourselves, well, the Americans really do this right. You know, they have
Yeah.
a lot of options and a lot of interesting designs and stuff, and they can cater to a larger audience. And we figured, why can't this happen in Canada? Why can't we actually do something like that, but
Yeah.
make it Canadian?
Yeah.
And that's what we started moving forward with.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing is like they have like our entire infantry corps. I mean, they have more Navy SEALs,
Yeah.
so that's
yeah.
part of the problem in Canada. That's all.
Yeah, numbers.
It's numbers.
But yeah, it's numbers. But even the few things that were out there that we looked at didn't really fit with what we felt was available.
I
or
found a
what
lot of
should
this
be.
stuff was kind of self-righteous.
Either self-righteous.
I'm not going to say
yeah.
any names, but there's some of the brands or some of the shit on the shirts. Just like, I'm not. Why would I want? First of all, it's way too many words.
Mhm.
Way
Yeah,
too many words.
y-
Second of all, it's kind of you sound kind of like a dick with what some of the sayings that were on the shirts.
Yeah, and we didn't want to have that, right? We wanted to have something a little more fun.
Tactical Beaver is so just self-important,
Yeah.
To the
We take
point.
ourselves so seriously, too.
right? Yeah, for sure.
Well, to add to Boris, I mean, you know, we're ordering stuff from the States and love their, you know, Article 15 Pipers Union. Those guys have a great product, but it doesn't give back to the Canadian charities or the community that we have here. So it's like, well, what can we do? Hence,
Yeah.
we came up with Tactical Beaver and we started, you know, creating designs, doing our research in the different types of apparel we wanted to
Yeah,
use. And
our
that's
problem is
started.
the charitable side of Canadian public is not there for the military.
Well, the foundations are there, but it's not as, you know, prevalent or large compared to the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, but not even just the spirit of giving
Yeah.
to the military veteran charities in Canada. Not even close.
Well, you look at the patriotic mindset down in the States, right? And you see a guy wearing a Vietnam or Korea hat, and he's treated like royalty, as he should be. I mean, he earned it.
Dude, I can't. I was just down in Albany. I can't
Yeah,
walk through
yeah.
the airport without people stopping me.
Yep.
Here,
Yeah.
like, people stop me because they know who I am.
Yep.
But they don't go, hey, are you a veteran? They go, hey, are you Jody?
Yep.
Yeah.
But Ottawa, people know me, right?
Mhm.
Down in Toronto Airport, nobody ever stops me, right? It's
Yeah.
a humongous air. But I'm in O'Hare, or is it O'Hare?
In Chicago?
That's like the biggest one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got stopped 4 times.
Wow.
Just like, oh, hey, thanks for your service. And you go, oh, I'm Canadian, right? And they go, doesn't matter, man. Thanks for your service.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. Like, I had a guy, actually, he, like, walked by, nodded at me. I just gave him a nod. And then he came, like, back 5 minutes later, and he talked to me for, like, 20 minutes, bought me a coffee.
Wow.
You know, like, that's just what they do.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
And it's not. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but it's not expected. But you feel appreciated when you experience that.
Yeah,
Right.
I never expected
No,
it.
I never would.
Yeah.
Either,
And the
but-
guys that do are part of the something
Problem,
we
right,
might
yeah.
get into on this podcast,
Well,
or we
that's-
might save it for another time.
That's that entitlement, right?
But it's an issue even down there. These entitled veterans.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta kind of watch yourself and keep that balance, because then people toe that line and go over, and you're next thing you know, you're rooting for everybody.
You know, if you think you deserve anything special because you're a veteran, then
That's a problem.
that's a big problem. And then, you know, if you're a wounded veteran, like, you don't deserve anything special, but you certainly have earned certain things that come to you with the contract. But all I want, you know, just a little respect. That's all I expect. Definitely
There you
don't.
go.
Definitely don't want you feeling sorry for me. But that's about it. You know, buy me a coffee, cool. You know, I got a decent parking spot here and there. I don't know. No, but like, I had guys come to me because I sit on city council here, and they
Yeah.
oh, every veteran plate should get free parking in Ottawa. And I'm like, are you fucking crazy? I'm like, you know how many veterans are in this goddamn
in
city?
Ottawa, yeah.
It's a
The
lot of
biggest
money lost.
posting in the country,
Yeah.
for
A lot of
Christ's
money-
sakes.
A lot of money lost there, but
Well, it's not just that. It's like, where do I stop?
yeah.
Yeah.
Do I give them to firefighters and cops and paramedics, and then do I give them to teachers and you know, like convalescent nurses, and like, everybody does a really tough job. Coal miners, the coal miners get free parking. You know, like oil field workers, they do a goddamn hard job.
Yep.
You know, I just, you know, you gotta, like, if you're there to get free parking, well then, man, you're there for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but anyway, enough of that.
So-
So Tactical Beaver, how long you been in business?
3.5 months actually, almost to the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you get some seed money?
No, it's all Boris and I. We put our own money into it. We did the graphic design. We had people help us out with that. Did the website ourselves, and it's just been going since.
Right on. Who's your biggest customer so far?
The Jody Mitic podcast.
See? Hella.
No, honestly, we have a lot of customers in the States and Europe buying patches because we offer the accessories as well. But it's just a lot of everybody, patriots.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even say just military patriots, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think even if you look at Article 15, they make a lot of money because they got the videos, and then it's mostly not military or veteran guys probably buying. But again, they also have, even if it was just military and veterans in the States buying, there's enough of those down in the States to make money.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And we created this brand hoping to unify the military, emergency services being police, paramedic, firefighters, or law enforcement, and patriots, because that creates that business of purpose and nostalgia, because some people might not have been able to join those forces, but they want to feel a part of that community.
Yeah, well, also you wouldn't have the numbers otherwise in Canada. Right. So that's why a lot of the charities like True Patriot Love, Wounded Warriors, they started opening up their doors to first responders.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Of all because there's not a ton of the military guys, and since we pulled out of Afghanistan, 6 years ago now ish, more or less. Like there's a lot less people like me coming home, and so you got to open the doors. And honestly, man, the paramedics, the firefighters, and the cops, they don't get enough love.
No, I listened to your podcast and you said, we did our tours and we signed up for it. These guys are on the front line every single day.
We would deploy over there. Every fucking morning or night, I guess, depending on when their shift is. They put on that flag and they walk out the door every day.
Yep.
Right? Holy fuck.
Yep.
We think, 6 months overseas, blah, blah, blah. Every morning.
Mm-hmm.
Adios.
Yeah,
they're in their AOR even when they're at a barbecue.
Yeah. Well, we go balls to the wall for 6, 7, 8, 9 months, whatever your tour is, and you come back, you have your decompression, and you're back in the cycle of things. We're there. It's I got my 6 days off or whatever the turnover.
Yeah, they
is.
get their mandatory vacation,
and then it's back at it. And it's there's stress and all the trades, right? So they obviously are.
Well, now that I'm working with them a lot more, I don't know I can't remember. I think it was before I got elected, but. I started paying attention because Barry from my sniper team joined the OPP, and pretty sure it was after he joined. But the OPP basically just went, all right, whatever the military is doing, we're just going to start doing it from this day forward.
Yeah.
The RCMP only recently, I think, even admitted there was such a thing as PTSD. It was in the last year or two, maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, it was only... a year ago they admitted that there might be sexual misconduct, maybe by the occasional member. Yeah, you're right. Jesus. But yeah, they're way behind us, way behind us being the military.
Yeah,
it's actually a little scary sometimes when I see some of the results of. But anyway, as a city councilor, I see them as my troops, right? So I try my best to look after them. And
awesome.
And they're kind of where we were in the 90s, a lot of self-help, a lot of peer support, which we still have in the military, but now we have the pros in place. We have the I talked to them about the JPSU concept of having everything at one-stop shop. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. Army, Navy, Air Force, you reserve regular, you walk in the door and you're treated whatever you need.
Yeah.
JPSU, joint support. And they go, joint personnel support. And they go, oh, okay. So I'm like, yeah, so who's the psychiatrist on call for the cops? And they're like, we don't have one.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a problem. City of 1 million people. Who's your psychologist for the paramedics? Oh, we don't have one. So I'm like, how about we just open an office? You guys all put money into it.
Yep.
A couple of psychiatrists, a bunch of psychologists, and a bunch of, what do they call them? Counselors? Or yeah. And it's just, if you walk in, they already know where you're from, ish. And then you sit down and you say, yeah, I'm a cop or I'm a paramedic. And they go, oh, okay. And you go in and talk to the person.
And the stigma is gone now, really, with having PTSD or wanting to talk about it, right? So people
not with them.
Well, I'm talking about the military. For us, people can actually open and talk about it.
More than when I joined.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's not
sorry, it's not completely gone, but it's a lot easier for people to
It's getting
openly
better,
say,
yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
And it's accepted. Right?
Yeah, but now we're facing the opposite issue of it's being not prescribed, diagnosed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a problem. You know, but they're figuring it out, I think, because like you can't have whole units not able to deploy
No, of course not.
because of mental health, you know. But part of that too, I think, goes all the way back to basic training.
Mhm.
You know, we don't basic training is when that shit has to start.
Yeah, well, you train the way you fight, right? And you prepare yourself for
Well, I mean,
situations.
my whole career, we never did anything to mentally prepare for stuff. It was always just like, you know, this is your training. But, you know, I always go back to that scene in Band of Brothers where they're crawling through pig guts. I never did that. Like, just that alone is worth its weight in gold when it comes to the first time you see the inside of a buddy.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I feel like you were in the earlier rotos of Afghanistan, where I went in Roto 9. We took the lessons learned from the previous rotos.
when was Roto 9?
2010, April to Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So you take those lessons learned from previous rotos and you adapt your training to learn and prepare your soldiers. to
So
deal
did
with
you
all those
do any
circumstances.
crawling through pig guts?
Not necessarily that, but
Well.
well, the TCCC courses try and prepare you.
Yeah,
for
but
that.
it's still
not the same.
It's more about, you know, preparing the mind for what's, you know, our workspace is chaos and destruction, right?
Yep.
You know, the first time I was in my true workspace was when we did the initial assault on the school during Medusa. Like I've said it before, 3 burning vehicles left behind. We ended up bipping the lab and all that. However many dead, however many wounded. But that from private to general, that was most people's first taste.
Yep.
And there was, you know, I don't remember a single time where anyone was just like, okay, think about how you're gonna feel, or this is how you should feel, or this is how you're gonna feel.
You just carry on.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't work. That's how
No,
you end
it
up with a
doesn't, but
bunch of
that's
PTSD
what we
when you
did.
could have, but also you should feel bad. That's the other part that's not said, right?
Mhm.
You know, your buddy gets killed or zapped or hurt. Like, you should feel bad about it.
Yeah, those feelings you're getting are natural.
Yeah, you're not a pussy.
No, you take it, you embrace it,
Yeah.
and you talk about it, and you move on if you can. If not, well, you
Yeah,
move
yeah.
on, right?
Right on. Okay, so who's your... Okay, I don't need to know that, actually. I'm not going to ask that. I'll ask you that off the air. So what are people going to get if they call Tactical Beaver?
Well, you call it Tactical Beaver, you're going to get quality premium tri-blend apparel.
Ooh,
So,
tribe.
tri-blend, 50% polyester.
High speed, low drag, no spark.
Pretty much. According to you guys, well, like you guys, your shirts are what? 25
I don't
seconds
know.
are fireproof. You'll be 30 with ours. So just throwing that
Settle
out
the
there.
fuck down. Holy shit. You hear this? He comes on our show and starts talking shit on your shirt. All right, anyway.
Yeah, so back on the air.
carrying on.
You got t-shirts, we got baseball tees, so the 3/4 sleeves, hooded tees, distressed hats, fitted hats, patches, and stickers for now. And we're looking to
I
branch
love
out.
it.
Yeah, we're looking to branch out into more lifestyle pieces, Beaver bottle openers, things of that nature. We're going to launch a women's line soon enough, get the tank tops and the scoops and the V-necks. And yeah.
You got to get the ladies in on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Especially in the first responders,
oh, yeah.
like a huge amount of them are women.
Oh, absolutely.
There was a cop, a guy cop, and a woman paramedic couple that came to my barbecue today.
Oh, great.
And it's, there's so many more women involved in paramedic and firefighter and cop stuff now, than even before. In the military, it stayed pretty steady now at about 20% ish.
Yeah, but still, it's not. We're trying to stay inclusive. It just as we are building our availability of items, and we want to field test.
I hear
them
you.
before,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
we would like to bring in that for the summer, especially.
But the shirts and all the apparel is unisex. So
Yeah.
if you order an extra small and you're a petite woman, it'll fit you nice and tight.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing right now.
Cool, man. So what's next steps?
Well, next steps, we're looking at sponsorships for, certain things and maybe
Like podcasts?
possibly podcasts. I haven't
Possibly.
really thought about it as of yet, but,
Mm.
You make an interesting point.
I haven't really, thought of any podcasts that would benefit from sponsorship. So.
Yeah, me neither. I can't think of one. Dick.
Yeah.
Sorry, what's your name again? Chelsea's over here, and your boyfriend does what again?
He's a CP operator.
I don't know what that is.
Close protection.
Oh, he's an MP as well.
No, he's infantry.
Oh,
Infantry
what
reserve.
unit? Oh, we're at Essex and Kent. No,
He's
Cameron's.
a Cameron's now, yes.
Right.
He's moved to Ottawa from Windsor.
Okay.
Yeah, he was on my CP tour in Kabul a couple years ago.
Right on.
Yeah, so looking at sponsorships, possibly distribution in the States, things like that, really expanding the brand and creating that unification, that brotherhood in Canada, that community that people in the States have. So,
Yeah. Are you gonna start doing the YouTube thing like Matt Best?
That's a goal. We want to do the YouTube videos and have our own podcasts, things like that. But
And where did you hang your hat?
We're in Toronto.
Both of you?
Ontario. Yeah,
Yeah.
both of us in Toronto. Hook us up, meet us up in Toronto. So
Yeah, I'll be down there. I don't know. It's a busy ass summer for this kid. And that's assuming I can even get my legs on. I wore them today for 4 hours, and I'm fucked. It's unbelievable. I haven't been in this much discomfort probably since I first got blown up.
Really?
It is unreal right now how
Tender?
it's brutal. Anyway, whatever. I'm not a pussy. Shut up.
Shut.
You shut up. Well, the thing that I get stoked about is like people aren't afraid to try stuff now.
Yep.
When I first got hurt, even before I got hurt, like I always had ideas about T-shirts or just like I was gonna start like a what's it called, where you show people how to go camping.
Oh, like Survivor.
No, but it's and like an outfitter, like an outfitting,
like a guide or outfit.
Yeah, back then it was called outfitting or outfitter, and
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just target like rich people who don't know any better,
Yeah.
and I'll sell them all really expensive gear, and I'll take them out for like 4 days with like two husband, wife, and 2 kids or whatever. Be like, oh, you all have to have like this North Face fleece.
Arc'teryx
Oh,
for all. Yeah.
What about when the co-op? Oh, you don't want that cheap shit. Right? Just whatever's the most expensive thing. They don't know better, and it's not hard. You just walk out in the woods and set up a bivouac and whoa, we're camping. Yeah, for sure, man. Why don't you go track those rabbits over there and I'll help you later.
You're a real soldier now.
Yeah.
But the idea of actually doing it, guys were doing, what was the big thing? Home inspections. Like everybody in Petawawa, like every other guy in Petawawa suddenly was a home inspector.
Really?
But that was like the 01, 02 when homes were just starting to like fly off the shelves.
And now it's gone to like real estate and stuff like that. Like
Well,
everybody and their brothers.
they were all
getting a real
inspectors
estate
and all their wives were real estate agents.
Yeah.
But houses literally, like my first house I ever bought was I literally paid $50,000 for in 02. 02? Yeah, 02. And I sold it after I got wounded 4 years later for $150,000. Like houses, like in Petawawa.
It's a pet.
I told my dad in Pembroke, Petawawa. I said, if you want it, like let's buy a house. A good house in Pet in 2000 was like $80,000 ish. Nothing compared to Toronto, Brampton.
Oh God, no.
And I was like, and these are nice houses. I was like, hey, Dad, if you want, there's a bunch of houses. Buy a couple for the price. You get like 4 for the price of 1 from Toronto. And we'll just rent them to guys who are moving in and out or troops that are moving in and out.
Yeah.
I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Within a couple of years, the same houses, $300,000.
Could have cashed in
$400,000.
and retired.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. There's a guy out in Alberta, Winnipeg, Manitoba. I can't remember. Anyway, buddy of mine, I won't mention his name, but he started buying houses as a private when he was posted to Shiloh. And now he's a millionaire. Retired a corporal. Like, and I'm talking, like, I'm not even kidding, just like on paper millionaire. No, he's a legit millionaire. And he was a corporal.
Wow.
And on a corporal salary, he bought like 25 houses.
Good for him, man.
Good gracious, So the thing I've always found in Canada with veterans is that, we're always like almost not, what's the word? Timid to step. We used to be timid to step outside our arcs of fire, but now there's almost none of that. It seems.
I mean, you look at like when we started Tactical Beaver, I was looking around for veteran-owned companies, and as we launched 3 months ago, you see more and more popping up. You've got Wild Forged Apparel, Exfil Apparel, Arrowhead Coffee. All these things are slowly popping up.
Arrowhead, I got a bag of their coffee in my freezer. Right
Delicious.
So
you guys want some coffee?
After, yeah. I know the owner, actually. He's a really nice guy. Really good guy. But yeah, they're all popping up, and it's great to see that creativity and that uniqueness from veterans, because I feel like, guys are like, oh, I need to be told what to do in and out, and now that we're branching out of that mindset,
or you get
great.
like this total, like, complete competitive Like, fuck those guys. And it, well, hey man, like, plenty of pie to go around.
Well, you
exactly.
said it.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off, Boris. Like, you look at the States, how many apparel companies are there? Tons, right?
Yeah.
Now, why can't we all share the same space? Collaborate, help each other out.
Collaborate, but you know, it's not like you're going at like maybe you're after the same market to a point, but if you got cool shit, I'm gonna buy one of yours, I'm gonna buy one of theirs, I'm gonna buy one of theirs, and then I'm gonna buy some Arrowhead coffee.
There you go.
And and then I'm gonna drink some Firehouse coffee, which is a sponsor of this show.
That's it.
Never drink Arrowhead, Glenn. Don't worry. Drink the shit out of that Arrowhead coffee. Luke, go ahead and grind some up. Get out the hand grinder, real quick. Made with original arrowheads.
It's got that earthy taste to it.
Earthy taste. Got to be careful. I don't want to get accused of cultural appropriation or anything like that. I don't know what's safe. And then I'm just stoked because to me, like, you guys do good, I do good.
Yeah.
I do good, you do good. Arrowhead does good, we all do good. Like, it's one big merry-go-round. And that's the other thing, like, because I'm looking at getting back into the game a little bit and teaching and stuff. And there's so much, like, hate amongst these guys that run these companies. And I'm like, why don't you guys just join forces and, like, make money?
And that's it's an unfortunate posture that they take, because you're correct. If they all get together and they're supporting one another, they may all have specific nuances that they capitalize on. And if someone wants that particular nuance, they'll go for that, right? But there's still plenty to go around, like you say, right?
Well,
like in
the Canadian tactical market, on the actual, like, hands-on gunfighter instructor stuff,
yeah,
very limited.
that's true.
Your customers are Canadian Softcom, maybe the RCMP, ERT. In Ontario, you might get the OPP True, and
But they'll probably be working with CanSoft guys.
no, I don't know about. Like, I've talked to enough people to know that everybody still stays in their own silo a little bit, unfortunately. But like Peel Regional Police, and I'm not saying any names, I'm not calling anybody out. I visited their TAC team once. They don't, like, their funding is not, like, they don't train. You know, and like the most police forces, and this isn't just a Peel thing, this is a police force thing. They're so busy with everything else. Like, their guys barely have time to go to the range and shoot their service pistol.
Once a year?
Yeah, they do their.
Well, it's
their
once a
calls,
year.
and that's it.
Mandatory. Dude, they carry that thing around with them every day.
Yep.
Shouldn't they have time to go to the range like once a week?
Yeah.
Minimum? It's just weird. Like, there's no, like, they don't go through a training cycle like we do in the military.
No.
That surprised the shit out of me once I got to know more about the cops and first responders. I just assumed every 3 to 6 months they went through a training cycle where you rotate off the street and you go through some, you know, some use of force scenarios, some scenarios where you got to choose, shoot, don't shoot, some car chase stuff.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Well,
But
I don't know. Does it? It costs a lot of money, but at the
it
same
costs a lot of
time,
money. Yeah, they don't have the staff for it because they don't have the money to hire more staff, so they can take
I
people
feel like
off the
they
road.
should.
And that's
well, hang
what's
on.
here,
As
yeah.
a city councilor, I can tell you they keep asking for more fucking money. So what are they doing with all this money if it's not going into training?
Well, there's a good question.
Well, I think a lot of it goes into pay, which is fine. But, you know, for the good of the force, like, some of that money has got to go to training. You know, I take the guys to the range as much as I can. They don't get extra ammo. Like, they don't even get extra ammo. Like, huh? I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't understand it. But how do we get on that topic? This is what we do.
training.
Tactical Beaver, yeah. So
Yeah.
we're Canada's premier apparel company.
Premier. Notice we said Premier.
Yeah.
And then what's this True North what?
True North Tradecraft. It's kind of a
See, that to me sounds like we're going to go make mucklucks out of beaver pelts and start fires by rubbing sticks together.
You're not wrong.
Not quite, but just I've had a little bit of training and a little bit of background in kind of self-resilience and personal protection, and
Are you making your dip spit can?
That I am.
Okay, hang on. I'm just watching. Oh, sorry, Boris.
Yeah,
Carry on.
no
I learned
worries.
that from
That was
Boris.
not
So, yeah.
nearly as interesting as I thought it would be.
So a lot of times in the States, when people look to have
Get the fuck away from me with that shit.
training or tips and tricks and just information about things like everyday carry or personal protection. A lot of it is from an American perspective. And if you look at a publication that's going to talk about what your everyday carry or EDC is, it's going to include a gun, right? We live in Canada. We have a less permissive environment. And
did you know you can open carry a shotgun anywhere in Canada?
Legally.
Yeah. Try doing it, though.
Try doing it,
Yeah.
exactly. So, I mean, in Canada, it's a less permissive society.
Yeah.
So you can't take the same tack with the same information that you would find from an American
What
source.
are you doing over there? You're so distracting.
I'm telling you to do it further because you can hear this bit.
Oh. Yeah, so Chelsea's not wrong. Chelsea, right? Chelsea's not wrong, but we've all burped in the mic. It's okay. A little spit in the mic. It's all good.
It tastes like Luke.
You know what Luke tastes like? Hey, it's 2017, bro. Go ahead. It's all good. I'm not against it. I'm just saying. I don't even know what Luke tastes like. What's up, bro?
Let's
What's
focus
up?
on Boris right now.
Boris, what do you taste like?
Heaven.
I
There you
like
go.
that confidence.
There you go. So that's what I'm kind of focused on. It's always been a bit of kind of a pet project. So I'm trying to do that in parallel with Tactical Beaver.
Roger that.
To mutually support one another. But it's topics that I'm passionate about. And I think that there is a lack of a Canadian perspective for those types of topics.
That's a good point, man. That's a really good point.
And again, it's always going to be something like, oh, where do you keep your gun in your car? Or
You don't.
Exactly. So you can't
In the trunk, in the case, or the trigger lock.
Yeah, with your ATT,
Ammo
and
in the
everything,
back
yeah.
seat.
So those types of recommendations aren't realistic for our country.
Yeah, that's a great point, yeah.
So I like to focus on and talk about. And
That doesn't mean there aren't people that don't skirt the law now.
Oh,
and then.
for sure. But your average
Never
law-abiding,
me.
your average law-abiding Canadian that would like to increase their personal security and self-resilience,
Yeah.
I think needs a different perspective from what is the kind of mainstream available
Yeah.
stuff from the States. So with that, I'm trying to craft a Canadian perspective to it.
Pardon me. That's a great point. You know what? There's enough states that have almost similar laws to ours that you might have and a lot of them are New England areas.
Mm-hmm.
You might have a case in some of those areas, and California. Have you seen the rules in California?
Yeah,
we think,
they're
we think
pretty-
we got it tough.
They're pretty restrictive.
Holy shit!
And I've gone down to the States for training, and I've met a lot of people and become friends with a lot of people down in New York, Maryland, California.
I thought Maryland was pretty open with their gun
It
carry.
is, but because it's so
you
close,
can't cross the
that's,
lines.
That's it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if anyone is going to go, if they live in Maryland and they're going to go to DC or something like that, and they commute, they're not going to be carrying, and because of the
Right.
way, like Virginia and all that, it's so close, but
Yeah.
you're crossing different jurisdictions. So I'm trying to tap into those experts and
That's
those
kinda neat.
people, and to try and get their knowledge and their experience, but then look at it from a Canadian perspective, and then try and give my take in a Canadian perspective to that to make it beneficial to people in Canada.
Did you know it's like it's prohibited to carry a knife with a spring in it?
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
fucking weird is that?
You'll get done for weapons
Yeah, but-
dangerous for it. Yeah.
But that's so weird to me. Like, what do we give a shit about a spring and a knife in Canada?
Someone wrote the law, and that's
But
it.
did you know if you
Yeah.
try and go to the States with a barrel less than 14 inches, that goes all the way back to rum running back in the Prohibition days. Because if you tried to cross the border with like a Thompson submachine gun,
Yeah.
because their barrels were 13 inches or something weird like that. So that's a leftover law from that, but that's an American law.
Yeah.
So I have my AR that's 11 and a half inch, and I was going down to the States. They're like, yeah, you can't take that down there. You can't even
Yeah.
legally do the paperwork to cross
It's
with
just
it.
not coming
it's just
in at
not.
all.
Forget
Yeah.
about it.
And that's the thing.
We need to pause real quick. Yeah. Hey, this one. Oh, look, it worked. Back on. Sorry, folks. The Tactical Beaver folks. Wait, sorry, troops. The Tactical Beaver folks suffer from the small bladder syndrome that I do. If you read my book, Unflinching the Making Sniper, you would know what I'm talking about. Hang on 1 second. Look at that. We're all like
Tangled up.
tangled. I tell you, we're high tech. We're high tech up in here. You guys paying attention to the conservative party leadership race at all?
No, I'm
No?
trying to keep out of the news as much as I can. Sometimes.
Well, it's just the leadership race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna wait for the results.
Right. I hope Aaron O'Toole wins. That's my only thing. But if he doesn't, then that's fine. But he's a friend of mine, and he's former minister, so he probably knows what he's doing a little bit.
You'd think so.
What'd you guys think of that Manchester thing?
Very
Fair-
unfortunate.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Pretty sad. And
Unfortunate
fucked up.
is like a tornado.
It's
a
sad and
goddamn-
fucked up.
It's devastating.
Yeah,
man.
it's a tragedy, and it's a devastating loss. I mean, there's
No,
yeah,
it's
hard to actually
it's
put words.
evil.
In. Yeah,
It's horrible.
It's why we do what we do.
yeah,
Kids, an 8-year-old. I got an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
An 8-year-old is the youngest victim
yeah.
at a fucking concert. That's stuff that just bums me out. And then, like, within a couple hours, instead of saying, "Holy shit, why are people doing this?" It's like, "Don't be Islamophobic." No one's being Islamophobic, dude. How about they just don't understand why people are blowing themselves up at concerts full of little kids?
Well, there's a sign somebody put up near the site that made the rounds on like Reddit and stuff like that, and it just simply said, "Stop killing people, you fucking twats!" Right? And that's a simple message, Stop blowing yourself up or killing people for no good reason.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like I read an article and the woman was like, "Why do we mention Islam and when we talk about or Muslims when we talk about terrorism? Like, did the KKK ever get labeled a terrorist group?" Yeah, actually,
they
totally. And people are like, when's the last time? And people go, most people are killed by white terrorists in North America. Like, well, I mean, sometimes they used to be Oklahoma City and all that jazz, but lately that's not the case. Like, sorry, man, that's just not the case lately. And you know what? When it was white supremacist weirdos doing it, guess what happened to them? We killed them all, or we put them all in jail. So there goes your argument. Like, people are going to go after who's the problem right now. Like, it's one thing to be a criminal element. It's another thing to be completely for destruction of the society that you're cohabiting with.
simple message: stop killing people.
Yeah, but that's like, to people like that though. That's like saying, "Hey, water, stop being wet." You just either drink the water or you sop it up. You know what I mean? And you just you gotta just kill them all, basically, all the bad guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Draw a line in the sand. Anyone on that side is a bad that is a bad guy. You just kill him. I was watching a video of people running away from Mosul and getting shot by ISIS. It's like, just come on, man. I don't know. But to them, it's different. It's kind of like the Nazis were like this, right? They weren't killing humans in their eyes, right? And these guys, they're not killing like this. They're not killing humans. They're killing, what do they call them? The cough? No, what is it?
Like infidels?
No, they have another word for it. Because anyone who's not the type of Muslim that they are is like, even the other, like are they Sunnis or shit? I should know this. Anyone who's not the type of Muslim they are is considered this. It's not infidel. It's another word. I think it starts with a C. I forget. Remember the first video ISIS put out a couple years ago, whenever it came out, and it just said they had constantly had they had cornered the whatever.
Yeah, I remember you talking about. I can't remember the name.
Anyway, yeah, that Manchester thing is like, come on, man, go blow up a cop station, or remember when those guys ran over the soldier and then stabbed him in England? At least it's a soldier, right? A dude in uniform.
Yeah, leave the kids alone, right? That's
kids.
Yeah,
dude, man, like
my daughter's almost 8, so I can
but
only partially relate.
Even
to
if you
that,
didn't
but
have
it's
kids,
terrible.
they're 8-year-olds.
Exactly.
So what are you scared of? And that singer, like, wasn't she one of the ones caught wiping her ass with the American flag or something like that? Something weird like that?
Well, she's preaching that religion is a religion of love, and
She
going on.
did?
Yeah.
She's not wrong, right? I mean, if you're true, but every religion is a religion of love if followed completely. But they all have their assholes. Even Buddhism. Buddhism has their assholes.
Extremists, radicals, right?
Yeah, like
Well,
they have their assholes.
That's the thing. Extremists are the problem. It's not
Yeah.
the rest of people. It's,
Yeah.
it's the extremists, right?
Yeah, but you
from
know,
whatever stripe.
Unfortunately, if you're of that religion, you're gonna own part of it, right? Unfortunately, in England, like the Irish separatists were blowing shit up all the time. Guess who wore it? Everybody else. That's just how it goes. We try not to get too political here. You guys seem uncomfortable.
Just remaining diplomatic.
Really? Wow, I'm the politician here. Surprised. All right, moving on. What do you guys want to talk about?
What's going on with you, Jody?
Well, I'm sitting here having a cider. I got my legs off.
What do you got coming up for Canada Day?
Canada Day. I'll probably be sitting in the backyard barbecuing with the kids and the wife. And, yeah. I'm not into the crowds lately.
And nothing for 150. Nothing for Canada 150. That's on the horizon.
Well, Ottawa's been doing all kinds of shit for
Yeah.
150. We got stuff all the time. Me personally, no, not really. I don't know. Like being the counselor for the area, you just try and support what's happening, and then, with with everything else. Yeah, sorry, man. I just you just support. But for me, we won the Grey Cup last year.
Yeah.
And so me and a couple of the other counselors and the mayor were in the parade. Yeah. And then we get down to like Lansdowne where the team's headquarters is. There must have been 30,000 people. Well, maybe not that many. It was a lot though. And I'm just like, oh boy. And I've never really had this reaction. And I just kind of like back to the wall and started scanning for snipers issues. And I'm like, this is kind of weird. So but I haven't been into the crowd, like Remembrance Day crowds, like downtown are just massive. And I'll just go to the local cenotaph here. I don't know. Just not into being, and it's about the legs too, right? I can't stand as much.
Yeah.
So if you can't sit down, then if I gotta keep walking everywhere, like it's just not fun. So I tend to go where it's like the least amount of effort. But yeah, I don't know. I got a new book coming out soon.
Awesome. Tell us about it.
No, it's my show. I'm in charge. It's a collection of stories of other soldiers. That's it. And if it catches on, which I could, I'll probably do a couple more. It's kind of exciting because one of our issues as a military, I believe, is that we don't do enough to connect with the people of Canada. By far, even the Americans, even if a movie isn't quite that flattering to the military, they still support it to an extent. Remember that movie Stop Loss?
Yep.
With
Ryan Felipe.
You're right. Terrible movie. Terrible issue, but supported by the military. In Canada, we had Paul Gross try to make Hyena Road.
Yeah.
Received almost zero military support. I'm like, I think that's a mistake. We gotta it'd be a lot harder to take $8 billion out of our procurement stuff if the Canadian people knew what we were about.
Yeah.
Like the A10, the A10 Warthog, right? We all love it. We all know it. We all love it. Guess when it was supposed to be retired?
It was like 90, I think 98 or 99.
When was Gulf War 1?
Oh, 92?
91.
92, yeah.
It was supposed to be retired as they went into Gulf War 1. That's like that's 1990. That bitch is still flying, right?
It's public support.
And it's public support. The public comes out and goes, because the troops go, no, we love that thing. And then the Air Force goes, no, we need to get rid of it. And then the Congress people hear from the folks, like the civilians, and they go, no, the troops love that thing. You are not retiring it, regardless of what you think. And we don't have that up here. Like, when they say, yeah, we're not going to replace those trucks, there's no public outcry. Or when they buy shitty boots or whatever, there's no like, oh, how could you do this? The people, because the people don't know. So I think one of the things we got to do is we got to just let the Canadian public get to know their military a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, that's something we want to do with Tactical Beaver, the way Article 15 Matt Bass did those videos. Even though, they're parodies and they joke around, but they are showing a side of the military that people can support. And see,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, they
You
joke
got
a
to
bit.
be on the inside to get most of the videos.
Oh, of course, not disputing that. But if we can show to the civilian side that, hey, this is what we
Like,
experience.
what do
on
they?
a daily
What's he call it
basis.
when he snaps his fingers and the girls turn and go into bikinis?
Freedom snaps, something like that.
Yeah, there's this whole thing called like sexism and all that. Hey, girls are happily participating in it, but that's the side that you got to be on the inside to get. Like, Chelsea over here telling us about how the women have lent the name to Tactical Beaver. Hey, the beaver is a noble and a mighty creature and rodent. You were going to the other side and into the ditch, young lady, which I appreciate, and so does every other soldier. But I'm just talking about the average Canadian at this point.
Right, but if we do videos or podcasts that talk about the problems that the reserves or full-time guys are facing, it can shed light to people and all the community
Right?
to give us that support.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But you got to get it on the air. You got to get it out there. And, CBC and CTV and Global, they're great. They're Canadian, I guess, but they're not they're never going to give enough traction, so you got to build that audience. You got to do it yourself.
Absolutely, and that's why we we cater to all those services, because we're unifying everybody and showing that it's not just military that needs more support. It's the police, paramedics, firefighters, and that way people can say no, don't take away Toronto Police's budget or any other people, because they need that for training, like we were discussing, or support of some kind. So that's what we're hoping to do, as well as sell some pretty awesome apparel. It's more than just that. So it's a business of purpose that we want to have
here. Oh, we're almost at an hour. Listen, I love you guys, but I got some stuff I got to do. Maybe are you guys here tomorrow?
Yeah, we're taking off tomorrow.
Okay. Where can we find Tactical Beaver?
Well, Tactical Beaver, www.tacticalbeaver.co. Instagram, tacticalbeaver.co. Facebook, Tactical Beaver, and Twitter, Tac Beaver.
Go over it again.
Tacticalbeaver.co is the website. Instagram is Tactical Beaver Co. Twitter is Tac Beaver, and Facebook is Tactical Beaver.
And where can they find Nick?
You can find me on any one of those outlets. You can send me a message on there.
So there's no just Nick?
Oh, Nick at tacticalbeaver.co.
No, that's not what I'm asking. What's your Twitter?
Oh, my Instagram is Chet LeBoots. Oh, sorry, no. My bad. I changed it. It's Nick Tactical Beaver. And,
Chet LeBoots.
I had to have an alias for my deployments. That paranoia that kicks in. My Twitter is N_Leboutslier. It's a very French name.
Boulier, oui. C'est vraiment français. Hey, vous, Boris.
So for True North,
Boris is from the KGB.
not even close, but we won't go there.
We can. I'm not scared.
So on for True North Tradecraft.ca, can touch base with me there. Same on Facebook, True North Tradecraft, and on Instagram, True North Tradecraft.
Nice.
But you can also contact me through Tactical Beaver. So Boris at tacticalbeaver.co.
Awesome. All right, so I'm going to be expecting one of everything soon. This is awesome, guys. I really love what you guys are up to, just so you know. I know I don't show it because, hey, we're professional tough guys. Luke, thanks for stepping out on this one. You guys know who we are, the Jody Mitic Podcast. You know where to find us. And if you don't, Google that shit. I'm Jody Mitic. This is episode, what is it again? 38? Are we going to put it? What's buzzing? Something's buzzing. Who's vibrating?
That'd be Boris.
Dude, not mine.
I swear to God, I hear a phone.
I so turned mine off before I got in here.
All right. This is the Jody Mitic Podcast, episode 38. We will have the Tactical Beaver back before long. Today is one of those, it's like an extra day, right? I had to kick the kids out of here for a bit. They're itching to get back. We're having a couple pops and sitting in the sun. Chelsea's over here making all kinds of weird movements, just messing with my train of thought. But man, keep this shit up. I mean, I'm seeing you might as well ask Arrowhead Coffee for a Tactical Beaver coffee blend. You might as well do an energy drink, maybe some dip, some Tac Beef dip,
Maybe a Beaver Brew for the beer
Beaver
lovers out
Brew, Beaver Brew, Beaver Whiskey. Just go all in, and keep that attitude rolling, but stay positive. Don't be self-righteous, as we say on the Jody Mitic podcast, there's always going to be bad guys, as we were talking about, the kind of assholes that will walk into a kid's concert and detonate themselves thinking that it's the thing to do. As long as there's bad guys like that in the world, we're going to need good guys like Nick and Boris, what I used to do for a living, people like Chelsea's boyfriend. Luke, you're cool too. We're Jody Mitic podcast. We're the good guys, and we're fucking out. How dope is it that there's a John Wick mode? We ain't just no this regular mode. We're going John Wick mode, bitch. All right, no, seriously, turn it off now.
All right, lots of fun with Tactical Beaver. After that show was over, they said that they wanted to give our listeners a little discount if they head over to the website and pick up one of these fancy shirts here. So you can go ahead and get yourself a Tactical Beaver shirt. You're going to get a 10% discount for listening to this podcast. Now, let me tell you, Tactical Beaver is veteran-owned and operated lifestyle apparel company for military, all emergency service, and patriots alike. So go ahead and use the discount code TBMITIC, TBMITIC, all capital letters, and you're going to get yourself 10% discount on your order. So that's Tactical Beaver. This is apparel you can feel damn fine in. So again, head over to the Tactical Beaver website, tacticalbeaver.co, and use your discount code capital TBMITIC to get 10% off. All right, so I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that Boris guy is awesome, and I need more of Boris in my life right now and immediately. You can also check out his blog. It's True North Tradecraft. There's the website as well, truenorthtradecraft.ca. So we're talking about personal security and resilience from a Canadian perspective. Find that on Instagram and Facebook too. So Boris's blog, we love the Boris, you will too, is truenorthtradecraft.ca. Are you wearing a shirt today? No, you're not? Then you are in luck. You can head over to the Jody Mitic Podcast.com website and get yourself one of these official limited edition, the Jody Mitic Podcast t-shirts in the original standard issue OD green. So you're going to be indestructible. You're going to be awesome. You're going to look good. You're going to feel good. This thing, don't forget, shark bite proof, fireproof, bulletproof, everything proof, okay? Amazing materials here, soft ass t-shirt, even though it can stop a shark's bite. I personally guarantee that for sure. So go ahead and get yourself one at the jodymiticpodcast.com website. Click on the store page. You can get yourself one of those shirts. There is limited stock remaining, so you should go over now and go ahead and do that. Again, logo on the front, Jody Mitic Podcast logo. We are the good guys on the sleeve, so you're going to be looking fresh. That's a great way that you can support this podcast, and we appreciate it. Another great way you can support this podcast is with audible.com. So right now, Tribe, you can get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/the Jody Mitic Podcast. So Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. They have over 180,000 titles to choose from, and you can access that on your iPhone, your Android, your Kindle, your MP3 player, anything that you're using. Maybe you use all of them. That's great too. So to download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/the Jody Mitic Podcast. Again, that's audibletrial.com/the Jody Mitic Podcast for your free audiobook.